Good morning. I'm Attorney Karen Jimeno. A seasoned sports leader is now at the helm of the Philippine Sports Commission. We'll get to know him on a personal level, here at the forefront. His career spans across tourism, corporate management, and sports, earning him a reputation as a trailblazing leader in the hotel industry, the Department of Tourism, and in recent years, the driving force for Olympic-bound programs in basketball, boxing, and rowing. Now appointed as the head of the Philippine Sports Commission, will the vision of Chairman Patrick Gregorio bestow more medals and elevate the Philippine sports to greater heights at the global stage? With us this morning is the Chairman of the Philippine Sports Commission, John Patrick Gregorio. Good morning, Chairman Pato.
Good morning, Attorney Karen. I'm happy to be here. Salamat sa Bilyonaryo.com and excited to be here to have a chat with you.
Thank you so much. And since fresh pa lang yung laban ni Manny Pacquiao yesterday, I'm gonna ask you first based on your opinion as a former Secretary General of the Association of Boxing Alliances of the Philippines. How would you assess the fight yesterday between Manny Pacquiao and Barrios?
Well, personally, I'm very happy to see him fight that way at 46 years old. I've watched so many Manny Pacquiao fights, of course, here in the Philippines and live in Las Vegas. Talagang sinasamahan namin yan noon. And for us to see a Manny Pacquiao fighting that way, 46 years old, talaga namang kahanga-hanga, di ba? Para bang...
At yung kalaban niya, 6-footer, I was really worried about the height.
6-footer na
advantage.
30 years old. So 16 years ang pagitan nila.
Yeah.
Pero wala, Manny Pacquiao is a generational talent, athlete. Para bang magkakaroon pa kaya ng susunod na Manny Pacquiao, no? So, kaya yung mga last few fights niya, you just have to watch it because wala na yan, paunti na lang ng paunti yan. But it's a legacy he has left behind.
Well, since you were also involved in boxing, do you agree that it was a draw, yung judgment ng dalawang judges there?
Personally, yes. Kung nanalo sana si Manny, if he was more aggressive in the last round, panalo siya. Pero
so, palagay mo may chance, malaki yung chance niya na manalo dapat.
Tsaka ako, as a fan, if I will look at it as a fan, then kung nanalo si Manny or draw, at least we know there's another fight.
Oo, sa bagay, withdraw, no? And do you think na dapat magkaroon pa ng rematch?
But it has to be soon. You know, it's turning 47, if I'm not mistaken, December. So it has to be soon. Maybe in the next 6 months or 8 months. Para naman after that, he can look forward to maybe retirement.
And dati merong joke na sa Pilipinas daw, yung crime rate nagiging 0 pag may laban si Manny Pacquiao. But it seems like this fight he had with Barrios yesterday, hindi ganun ka-hyped up. Like, I even saw some friends Sunday yesterday na hindi alam na nagkaroon siya ng fight kahapon. What do you think accounts for the difference?
Well, I guess, dahil may bagyo, nawala sa isip, busy. Pero in the provinces, in Mindanao, they stopped. Meaning, I saw SOCMED accounts na walang biyahe in tricycle, walang biyahe in jeep, and they were all inside the gym, no? Siguro hindi rin na-realize ng mga tao na it's a comeback. But for me, it's really still, para bang hahanga ka sa isang Manny Pacquiao.
Yeah. And every time may laban si Manny Pacquiao abroad, what is the impact of that for Philippine sports?
Well, the impact is, of course, yung unity. Di ba? We all cheer for him. Ang sports kasi, it's parang, I always say, it's a sports diplomacy. Yan ang pinaka-shortcut sa isang pag-promote ng bayan. Yan ang isang shortcut para maging happy yung Pilipino. And Manny Pacquiao has done that numerous times since 20 years ago. And imagine a jam-packed MGM, 16,000 people. Hindi naman lahat Pilipino ron, baka 1,000 or 2,000 lang Pilipino. But for Americans and Mexicans and boxing aficionados to cheer for Manny Pacquiao, they're cheering for the Philippines.
And you mentioned na nag-iisip ka kung meron ba sa future magkakaroon pa tayo ng parang Manny Pacquiao. For the Philippine Sports Commission, are you able to train Filipino athletes of this generation to become future Pacquiaos, whether in boxing or other types of sports?
That is really our role. Grassroots development and talent identification, not just in boxing. Pero sige, simulan natin sa boxing. When I was Secretary General of ABAP, we discovered Yumir Marshall at the age of 14, 15 in Zamboanga. And he became a world youth champion. And I always say, this young boy won at the age of 15 the world championship youth. And he got a prize. Ang unang ginawa niya is pasemento yung bahay nila na lupa lang. And then we discovered Nesty Pitesio, two-time silver and bronze medalist in the Olympics in Tokyo and Paris. Ganun rin yun. Sinasabi ni Nesty, Boss, nung na-discover niyo ako, yung hindi namin alam kung saan kami titira. Because yung tent ng bahay namin, tinatali lang namin sa mga puno at doon kami natutulog. Pero ngayon, that I'm a two-time medalist in the Olympics, hindi ko rin alam kung saan ako titira kasi ang dami ng bahay ko. Di ba? And then you have a Carlo Paalam who was just walking along the streets of Cagayan de Oro. He saw the Regional Training Center of ABAP. Pumasok siya. Bakit siya naglalakad? Kasi nagpupulot lang siya ng basura. They were all 15 years old. 15 years old. So, if we want to develop medalists, Hidilin, Carlos Yulo, and the boxers, and everyone, you have to catch them. You have to capture yung age group na yan. 12, 13, 14, 15. Because when you win a medal in the Olympics, hindi naman first try. Look at Carlos Yulo. Look at Hidilin. 4 tries.
Yeah. And the training is really important. Nutrition as well. So, paano nyo nga sila na-discover early enough in order to at least complement their talent, their natural talents with the proper nutrition and, of course, the proper training?
We have regional coaches. And then we have regional tournaments. That's why in the Philippine Sports Commission, sinabi namin, can we organize a national championship per sport so that we go to the provinces and discover all this young talent. And then we invite them to the training center. It is not easy. It is not easy. Imagine getting a 14, 15-year-old boy or girl to bring him to the National Training Center. Iiwan niya yung pamilya niya. Hahanapan mo siya ng eskwelahan para makapag-aral. Because that's a very important component. Hindi naman pwedeng training ka lang na hindi nag-aaral yung atleta. So ako, personally, para kang nag-ampon ng bagong anak. When you take care of athletes, parang pinapalaki mo yung pamilya, no? Because you are a sports leader. I think that is the passion that is needed if you want to become a successful sports leader. Talagang inaampon mo yung atleta eh.
And then, kailangan mo yung rin sustentuhan, of course, yung lahat ng equipment nila for training and the fact that you're taking them away from their family. For low-income families, that's a factor kasi usually tumutulong sila either sa bahay or dun sa hanap buhay.
Sa hanap buhay, di ba? If we remember some clips of Hidilin, araw-araw nag-iigib siya ng tubig, ng timba para sa bahay niya. That's why, very important ako as a chairman of PSC, sabi ko nga, all of us, pag sumigaw tayo ng laban para sa bayan, dahil yung atleta lumalaban, inisip na ba natin kung ano yung kapakanan niya, kapakanan ng pamilya niya? Then you shout laban para sa bayan. Because if that boy and girl, if they're distracted dahil may problema yung pamilya, kulang sa pagkain, hindi makabayad ng utilities, walang tubig, walang ilaw sa bahay, you can't expect the boy to fight, di ba?
Yeah,
and the
of
athlete
course.
to fight.
So,
that is a role. That is a role in the Philippine Sports Commission. That is a role in partnership with the Philippine Olympic Committee.
So would you say that ngayon marami nang naggawang bagong programs ang Philippine Sports Commission to add to the support for our athletes?
Well, the first few days when I was appointed by President Marcos and I was instructed, take care of our athletes, look at the welfare of our athletes and improve the facilities. In less than 72 hours, pinasa po natin sa PSC board, kasama ng 4 kong commissioners, yung 5,000 pesos across the board given to all national athletes and coaches. Yan ay parang 60,000 pesos per year times 2,000. Why did we do that? Because ang ranking, ang allowance ng mga atleta sa Pilipinas, parang nagsimula sa 10,200 up to mga 45,000. If you're a medalist in the Olympics, 45,000 ka. But if you are a beginner national athlete, you get 10,200. Ano naman ang mararating ka rin ng 10,200 nowadays? At least now they're almost minimum 15,200. Tapos umaakyat, may 22,000. So tinatanggal lang natin paunti-unti. And people were so happy, athletes were so happy. I guess at the end of the day, it is not just the amount, it is the gesture that Philippine Sports Commission and the Philippine Olympic Committee, we care. We want to take care of our athletes.
Okay, and yung na-mention niyo po na 45,000, I guess this goes by tiers. Can you explain to us yung pagkakaiba nito? For example, with a platinum athlete like Carlos Yulo, yung 45,000 a month ba ang pinaka-mataas?
Yes, ngayon. So parang mga 50,000 na yan.
Oh, because you've increased it by 5,000.
Of course, these are your medalists in the Olympics. These are your medalists in the Asian Games. Kukunti lang yan. Maybe
ilan ba? Si Carlos Yulo is one. Who else?
Hidilin and the boxers.
At the level ba of Manny Pacquiao, does he still get any?
No more.
Pang-Olympics lang to.
Yes, this is really for if you join the Olympics or the Asian Games or the Southeast Asian Games. That's why this December we have the Southeast Asian Games in Thailand. Next year is the Asian Games in Nagoya, and then 2028, of course, is the Los Angeles Olympics. We have to prepare for that. And the preparation starts yesterday.
Yeah, talagang it's a really long process that you have to sustain until the Olympics. Priority Class A, that's 43,000, tama ba? And then Priority Class B are the silver and bronze, 36,000. Yes. And then you have the SEA Games silver or bronze is 33. And then mga training pools, is it still around 10,200?
So inangat na natin.
Ngayon, 15 na.
Across the board, 1,800 athletes, 200 coaches, getting 5,000 across the board. That's an impact of around 10 million pesos per month. Kaya naman po ng ahensya yan, ng Philippine Sports Commission, sa tulong ng PAGCOR, of course sa tulong at sa guidance ng Office of the President. Yan po yung pinaka-basic na mabibigay natin sa kanila. And I can see, no, sa 2 weeks ko sa trabaho ito, nakita ko naman na napasmile natin sila.
Well, you were able to immediately increase the benefits of the allowances of the athletes. Bakit dati po hindi ginawa ito sooner? Kasi yung inflation mas mabilis. So, ang tagal kung ilang years na ganito ka yung amounts. Hindi rin siya ganun kataas compared to other countries. But why did it take a long time for that increase to happen?
Maybe I look at it from a different perspective. I've been an NSA official for the longest time, maybe close to 20 years. Boxing, basketball, rowing. Yung pinaka-recent ko as president of rowing. So alam ko yung nararamdaman nila because kami nga yung umaampon eh. If you're president of a national sports association, you actually don't get paid. Abono ka pa, di ba? Pero ano yan eh, passion mo yan, tumulong sa atleta, di ba? So we help them and then alam na alam ko, kumbaga ba wala na akong learning curve. When I was appointed last July 1, talagang sabi nga nila, you're running, you hit the ground running. Yes, I have to because I know the concerns, I know the issues, and sayang naman yung panahon.
And what was the mandate of, or your directive from the president when he said that the government is not giving enough support to Filipino athletes? What was the directive of the president given that statement of his?
Number one was athletes' welfare. Kaya yung 5,000 across the board, talagang di na natin pinag-isipan yan. Utos yun eh, ng Pangulo. Utos yun, request yun ng mga leaders natin sa government. So, all I had to do was implement it. Ano po yan eh, ginawa ko yung nararapat dahil yun rin ang sinabi ng Pangulo na bigyan naman natin sila ng mas mabuting buhay so they're not distracted. So, athletes' welfare. Number 2, yung wag madidelay yung kanilang allowance. Binawasan natin ng konti yung mga signatories dyan. Para naman mas mapabilis. We take care of the national sports associations kasi there are around 82 NSAs taking care of their respective athletes. It is now my role as chairman to take care also of the NSAs para they take care of their athletes. So, yun yung circle. Hindi pwedeng ma-break yung chain na yon. Otherwise, sasabihin ng atleta, na-delay na naman yung ano namin, yung allowance namin, or yung food namin hindi masarap. Nakukumpleto talaga yan. So, imagine para akong tatay ng isang 1,800
So we're about 1,800 yung mga athletes natin that compete internationally.
Yes.
Did you expect your appointment as PSC chairman or were you surprised?
Ano na yan ilang months na rin na pinag-uusapan and tinatanong na rin ako. Personally, sa loob-loob ko, there comes a time yata in the life of a person you have to help your country. So when I was advised that I will be the next PSC chairman and the office of Malacanang office said, can you help the president? Ang hirap humindi, di ba? When the first line is the president needs your help. So yes, you just have to say yes.
And prior to that, did you know the president personally?
No. I've met him a couple of times in some functions, but not personally.
So now that you're PSC chairman, what is your priority apart from raising the allowances, which is something you've already done?
Well, again, focus tayo sa 24/7 athletes welfare. We're opening up the National Sports Association, yung NSA office 24/7. We're making sure that the medical assistance for all athletes is 24/7. We're rushing the improvement of the food for the athletes para yung nutrition, that what you mentioned. And then yung improvement of the facilities, Karen, in Phil Sports, in Rizal Memorial, and in Baguio. We have a beautiful training area in teachers camp in Baguio. It just needs renovation and repair immediately.
Yung mga deadline yesterday.
Deadline yesterday.
And then, before we go to the details of the programs of the PSC, we'll take a step back and get to know you on a more personal level. So, we'll be showing you pictures that are relevant to you, and we'll give you 30 seconds to answer or give us a background about each of the pictures.
Okay.
So, first, let's start with your background. You have...
I like that. Problem solver.
So here, your siblings, Alan and Ryan, are also professional coaches in the PBA. Can you tell us how basketball became a serious sport within your family?
Yes, let's start first with the youngest, Coach Ryan. He was one of the youngest coaches winning a PBA crown when he was age 29 and the 3-time Coach of the Year of the PBA. He's now an analyst in the PBA. And he's very active with the Samahang Basketball ng Pilipinas. No? He's the best basketball player. The problem is just 5'6". Pag naging 6'2" yan, nag-PBA yan. Si Coach Alan, magkasunod kami niyan parang 11 months lang yung agwat namin. But if you notice, parang he looks older, di ba?
Ganun ba? Well, you're the one sitting in the chair, so you have the power to say what you want. But nakakatuwa naman na you all are into basketball as well. Pero did your dad bring you into the sport, or how did that come?
Yes. It's our dad. He was a professor in UP. He was an officer in UP. He was there for 45 years before he retired. And every week, dinadala niya kami sa basketball games because for him, it's cheaper than watching a movie. Diba? Because in the PBA games, you watch two games. And at the time, parang 7 pesos lang yata And it's funny because ano yan di ba? Araneta, it's a very big coliseum. And lagi lang kami sa bleacher. So when I asked him, bakit ba tayo rito sa bleacher? Kasi sa bleacher, pwede may merienda. Pag sa upper box, mahal ticket, walang merienda. Kami, we were small kids. So sabi namin, doon na lang sa bleacher para may merienda.
Well, he was probably doing you guys a favor. Less screen time, but you were able to develop a love for sports.
Yes, definitely.
And would you say that your dad also played basketball? Because based on our research, he was a Spanish professor in UP, tama ba?
Yes, a Spanish professor, a university as a secretary during the time of President Angara. He served, I think, 8 or 9 presidents as vice president. So, pero ano siya talaga, Spanish professor. Kasi magaling siya mag-Spanish kasi pumasok siya sa seminaryo, na-kick out lang eh.
And then ended up marrying your mom, who's a UNESCO consultant. Your mom, was she also into sports?
No, she's a biologist.
Oh, wow.
She was with UNESCO for 18 years. So, doon siya naka-base sa Bangkok. Eh, malapit lang naman yung Bangkok. So, Bangkok was her second home. So, that's my mother, Lucille. So ano siya? Siya yung, kumbaga ba, habang kami nagsusports, she makes sure na pag-uwi namin, nandun na yung pagkain kasi pagod na kami.
So you have 3 boys, 2 girls. The 3 boys, you all play basketball.
Yes.
The 2 girls?
Mga fans lang yon.
Si cheerleaders.
Cecil at si Tim.
Wala silang ibang sport. Bakit naging Pato ang nickname mo? Is it Pato? Like
Pato. It's really,
pero hindi yung Pato na duck.
Siguro duck, pero Pato talaga. Since grade school, hindi na nawala yon. May isang teacher na nagbinyag sa akin noon. I don't know kung saan niya nakuha yon. Pero hindi na nawala eh. So,
and then eventually your parents also call you that.
Yes, but sabi ko nga, you can forget the face. It's difficult to forget the nickname.
And then eventually you took up tourism at the UP Asian Institute of Tourism. Correct. Why was tourism your choice for a degree, considering you were athletic by then?
Well, yun ang ano ko, yun yung masaya ako as a tourism executive. Masaya ako sa hospitality. Actually, my first choice was economics. Because inisip ko, maybe I'll be a lawyer like Karen. But I realized, my personality, what suits me is really the hospitality industry. A believer ako that the Philippines is a beautiful country if we do it well, especially now yung program ko, sports tourism. Because the biggest tourism events in the world are sports events. Kaya I'm so excited to collaborate with the Department of Tourism.
What is this sports tourism program?
Sports tourism program is when you host international events, bring them to the Philippines para nandito sila. What's the difference between your ordinary tourist or your convention delegate? Your convention delegate stays for 2-3 days, they leave. Maybe they'll bring their wife, they don't bring their family. What's the difference with sports tourism is that when you host, like the men's volleyball this October, the World Futsal in this third quarter as well, and then the junior gymnastics world, all in the Philippines. Currently, they stay for 10 days. They bring their lolo, their lola, their parents, and they all stay in the country for 10 days. So, sports tourism, I think, is a perfect niche for the Philippines because it's a very beautiful destination, but at the same time, gustong-gusto nila yung if we host like the FIBA basketball recently, di ba? And ito na nga, yung mga volleyball, futsal, and gymnastics.
But
exciting.
That's great. And we started doing this since when?
Well, we've been doing it itong mga FIBA basketball, but sa atin, I think we will be more aggressive in bidding for and hosting this tournament in the next couple of years while I'm chairman.
So that's going to be part also of your initiatives as PSC chairman?
Yes.
So coming from a tourism degree, you ended up working in Manila Hotel and Waterfront Hotels and Resorts. Can you tell us at what age did you become the general manager of these resorts?
Well, I was actually, Atty. Karen, I was actually part of the sales and marketing of Manila Hotel. I was a sales manager. I was 23.
23 years old, wow.
Yes. And then I was a GM of a Waterfront in Cebu at age 30.
At 30, wow.
Yes. And I think doon ko nakuha yung skill set ko in taking care of people, taking care of athletes. Siyempre, mas different level lang, Atty. Karen, yung athletes. Pero when I was 30, I had, 1,200 people under me. It's a great experience.
That's really a young age to become a general manager. How did you achieve that?
Determined, focus. Meaning, alam ko na that in tourism, I think I can excel here. I think I'm friendly. I think I smile a lot. So, yun yung mga, kumbaga ba, these are the yung mga traits na dapat meron ka sa industriyang to. And you know, I must emphasize, hindi nalalayo sa sports yan, di ba? Kasi sa sports, lalaban ka, pwede bang nakasimangot ka? Di ba?
Sa bagay, no? I didn't ever make that connection, but it's interesting that you were able to have a talent for hospitality that actually serves sports very well. And at the start of this year, tama ba that you became the head of Lanco Lifestyle Ventures?
Prior to my appointment, I've been with the MVP Group. I've been with Chairman Manny Pangilinan for 17 years. So na-transfer lang ako, no, from Smart to Maynilad Water to Landco. So nung nag-transition lang yung John Hay ng BCDA, ang nag-support dyan yung Landco. So I was head of the task force taking over the hotels of the BCDA in John Hay. So ayun, ano lang. And then after nagawa ko na yung trabaho ko ron, so then I was appointed.
As PSC. Okay, so you're no longer with Lanco,
No,
but you
no.
helped with the
Well,
transition.
yeah, advice na lang.
At some point, there was a lot of controversy in terms of that turnover. Meron pa bang issues when it comes to the John Hay properties?
I think it's all a legal process, but you know, the BCDA is a great government corporation, is managing that very well. Kami naman nandun lang kami sa management side, yung Landco and the MVP Group. So it's smooth. The transition's smooth.
Okay.
So you can visit Baguio anytime.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it again, and I'm wondering kung ano yung mga naging changes ever since Lanco took over. But we'll get to know you better, Chairman Pato. But for now, we'll have to take a short break. At the Forefront, we'll be right back. Welcome back at the Forefront. And we're still getting to know PSC Chairman Pato Gregorio. So, Chairman Pato, we came from your work in the hospitality sector, and now let's go to your experience in basketball. As the Executive Director of the Samahan ng Basketball ng Pilipinas back then in 2006, and also the Chairman of the PBA Board of Governors, how did the opportunity to head basketball organizations come about?
You know, Attorney Karen, in sports kasi, ano yan eh. Sige, sa Tagalog, barkadahan yan. If you enjoy the sport, you're together, di ba? Regardless of background. Basta you like the sport, you like the sport. So when there's a vacancy or when there's an opportunity to nominate somebody, hahanap ka lang dun sa circle na yun eh. Di ba? Because you know how he decides. You know if he's a good or bad basketball player. So, yung SBP na yan, it was a former Commissioner Noli Iala of the PBA who recommended me. So, sabi niya, I think I know one guy who's into corporate, but who's an avid basketball player. And I think he can manage this well. So, those were turbulent times. If you remember, lalo na yung mga basketball fans, yun yung malaking away between the SBP group and the former group, no, na BAP. But ano na yan, naayos
Anong
na yan.
pinanggalingan nung away nila?
Leadership, yung the way, how to improve the NSA, the federation. So malaking away yon, international yon, and we were even suspended. So ako ang naglanding ron as executive director to make sure na ako ang mag-referee ron sa warring parties. It was very tough. We were suspended. Hindi tayo nakalaro sa SEA Games. Hindi tayo nire-recognize ng FIBA. But sabi ko nga, doon ko nagamit yung training ko sa hospitality. Yung bang, parang ano lang yan, may nagre-reklamong guest sa front desk.
So you were able to use your people skills.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Ano yan eh, yung sports kasi, at the end of the day, it's really people skills.
Yeah.
Your athlete will perform better pag minotivate mo yun. Kailangan maganda yung naririnig niya, naniniwala siya sa naririnig niya, at malinaw yung incentive niya para mag-perform siya, no? Ganun ang sports eh.
And paano naman kayo na-discover ni MVP, ni Manny Pangilinan?
Paano?
Because you ended up also
Yes,
helping the SMART
Yes.
and MVP Sports Foundation.
Paano? That was in 2003. That was in 2003. He was a speaker, plenary speaker sa isang international convention sa waterfront. And then, I remember, that was at 5 p.m. And it was a plenary, yung mga sila Lloyd and Nicholas Lewis, yung mga Filipino-American conference. And he arrived at 4. And he entered the ballroom. And it was a different conference. So sabi niya, mali ba yung lugar ko? O mali ba yung araw ko? Bakit hindi ito? So ang sinabi sa kanya ng waiter, 5 o'clock pa ho kayo. And dami-daming tao na different affair in the same ballroom. Sabi niya, no, impossible. Impossible. How can you clean this up? How can you reorganize? In what, 30 minutes? Impossible. No, sir, we can do it. Really? He pulled the chair. I don't know if he still remembers MVP. He pulled the chair, pumunta sa isang corner. Hinintay niya.
Na magpalit
Na
ng event.
mag-transform. And nangyari. When he saw it, sabi niya, who is the GM here?
Ang galing naman.
Doon niya lang ako na-discover.
Doon
Who's the
kanya
GM here?
na-discover.
Tapos I remember, he said, I only see this in Hong Kong.
Wow.
Then that's it. After that, join me.
Nakakatuwa.
That was in 2003.
So that's the reason you left Waterfront
Yes.
Hotels,
Yes.
because of MVP's recruitment. Ang
Yes.
galing, what a
Na-recruit
nice
ako ni
story.
MVP.
What do you consider as your most important contributions in basketball so far?
Well, yun na nga, yung peace in Philippine basketball. Number 2, yung journey ng PBA. I was chairman when they celebrated their 40 years, no? And number 3, yung making sure that we're competitive. Because at the end of the day, talagang favorite sport ng Pilipino yan. E di, pagalingin na natin para naman masaya tayo.
Yeah, mine too, my favorite. And now I also watch women's NBA.
Yes.
It's really amazing. So from basketball, you ended up becoming Secretary General of the Association of Boxing Alliances of the Philippines and the Philippine Olympic Committee. How did you become involved in boxing naman?
Because of my boss, Ricky Vargas, there's what we call the MVP Sports Foundation. We help around 8 or 9 Olympic sports. So when we help, we also help manage the NSA, like boxing. So Mr. Ricky Vargas became president of ABAP, and he said, you have to help me here. Sabi ko, boss, wala tayong alam dyan. Hindi, punta tayo sa Ilorgy Gym, mag-spar-spar lang tayo, malalaman natin yan.
So inaral mo rin talaga yung sport.
So, you have to. You have to. So pumupunta kami dyan sa Katipunan, may Ilorgy Gym dyan, tapos kami magbo-boxing kami, and then we realized, ang hirap pala nito.
Mahirap, oo. I've done boxing as well. Yung
Diba?
cardio niya pala. Kaya when I watch Pacquiao, sabi ko rin, paano yung ginagawa yan? Lalo na at his age, I don't know how he's able to sustain it.
Sabi ko nga, when we were doing that time, sure you experienced this, yung pati ko may pawis sa hirap di ba? Talagang you perspire and ano. So, we were there, we did the Grassroots program for ABAP. And then when Mr. Vargas became president of the Philippine Olympic Committee, kasama na naman ako as Secretary General. So yun ang nangyari sa buhay ko.
And would you have stayed at POC if Ricky Vargas continued on as the POC chairman back then?
Yes. But he had other plans then. Ang feeling niya, nagawa na naman yung trabaho. So back to corporate work, kinailangan din siya ng tulong niya ni MVP para bumalik sa PLDT and SMART and sa group. So, ano na kami? He still continued as president of boxing, and then I became president of rowing.
Of rowing naman. Later we'll talk about rowing. That's the next thing, the next sport I want to ask you about. But was there a controversy also before involving the Philippine Olympic Committee back in 2018?
Hindi, ano yan Yung mga controversy in sports, it's normal. When there is misunderstanding, when there is miscommunication, when there is pressure to perform very well, nandoon yan, hindi mawawala yan. It's just like coaching a basketball team na nagsasagutan yung coach siya yung player. So in sports, para bang it makes you happy. But sometimes it's very stressful. Kasi ang gusto mo manalo eh. So gusto mo manalo, iba-iba yung approach mo and analysis mo paano manalo. Or gusto mo makita yung flag sa Olympics, iba-iba yung proseso para makita mo yung flag sa Olympics. But ngayon, ano na eh, sabi ko nga, me as PSC chairman, Congressman Bambol Tolentino as POC president, I think mas kabisado namin yung style ng bawat isa. So dapat wala nang ganyang conflict.
You foresee smooth sailing when it's running the team.
We have to. Meaning, yun na lang ang pwede mong irigalo sa mga atleta eh, na pwede bang yung mga leaders huwag kayong mag-away para naman hindi sila distracted. And kaya kong ipangako yan.
Oo. And kanina na mention mo na meron tayong magagaling na boxers din na nananalo that you were able to, that the Philippines discovered them at teenage years pa. So, do you see na magkakasuccessor si Manny Pacquiao? Since we're still talking about boxing.
If Yumir Marshall won yesterday, third round knockout, yan, mahusay na bata yan. And even if we go to Baguio training camp, ABAP training camp, you'll see 14, 15-year-old kids there. Nandun na sila. Siguro mga 30 sila. Talagang pag tinignan mo nga, para bang grabe rin ang dedication tsaka excitement ng mga batang ito na batang-bata, umalis na sa pamilya nila. But ganun talaga eh. That is the sacrifice you have to accept na, goodbye, I'm joining the national team, I'm training for the Olympics, then I have to leave my family.
But I'm happy to hear that we have a lot of promising athletes in boxing, but also in other sports.
Yes, in other sports.
So from boxing, how did you end up in rowing? So now you're the president of the Rowing Association of the Philippines.
Until recently. Yes.
How did you end up in this sport?
That's what I was saying a while ago. That because you belong to one aggregation, one group of sportsmen. So pag mababakante, titingnan ka nila.
Ikaw naman dito.
Dito ka naman. So I also had to learn the sport. I had to go to La Mesa Dam and learn the sport. And it's a beautiful sport. Di ba?
Yeah, it is. I do rowing. But I go to saddle row. So, but I have a cousin na talagang sa Pasig River and then
or sa La Mesa or the one
really
in
goes
Internate.
Yeah.
There's a rowing academy in Internate. So learn to row. It's a beautiful sport. Pero sabi ko nga, kaya sumikat yan dahil kay Congressman Richard, di ba? Remember that TV commercial?
Yung bench commercial niya.
Remember? Kaya
but you know, it's
yan.
surprising a lot of leg work, no? More than, akala ko dati arms lang, pero it's really a lot of the legs.
Tsaka yung back mo has to be firm.
Kaya core workout doon. Yeah.
It's a beautiful sport. Kaya nga ako, I became president 4 years ago. And before that, 20 years wala ang rowing sa Olympics, Philippine rowing. The last time was in year 2000. And then I became president. Siyempre, medyo alam na natin yung strategy dyan, how to motivate, how to train. So the last 2 Olympics, we've had Olympians, rowers in the Olympics. Nevares in Tokyo and then Joanny Delgaco in Paris.
Yeah.
And Joanny Delgaco is top 20 in the world.
Yeah, so do you think may potential tayo na makakuha ng any of the medals for rowing in the coming Olympics?
Well, in the coming Olympics, talagang mahabang proseso yan. We're on our first 4 years. So siguro another 8 years.
Another 8 years. So bago lang tayo sa
pero
rowing.
If you're asking me, is there a potential? Yes, Attorney Karen, definitely. Kasi weight category ang rowing eh. Kung ano yung weight mo, yun ang kalaban mo, di ba? And syempre, kahit pa paano, pag umaakyat na yung weight at kalaban mo na mga 6'9" na Germans at mga 6'8" rowers, ang hahaba ng wingspan yan, di ba? So, but dun sa lower, lightweight, we have a chance. We have a chance. I'll give you an example, Attorney Karen. Joanny Delgaco is the best in Southeast Asia. In our pool, in the rowing pool, we have around 30 to 40 rowers. In Vietnam, they have 300 rowers.
Oh, wow.
But the best in Southeast Asia is Joanny Delgaco. Hindi na nanalo ang Vietnam dyan. Pero
Ang training ba sa Vietnam is institutionalized?
Institutionalized.
They have a more sophisticated training system.
they have a rowing academy. In every sport, they have an academy. And yan, pagsusumikapan natin yan sa Philippine Sports
So do
Commission.
you plan to also establish rowing academies in the country?
Not only rowing academies, our plan is to establish regional centers, regional training centers. Kasi ngayon, ang nangyari, nasa Rizal lang, or nasa Baguio lang, or nasa PhilSports lang. We need to open regional training centers all over the country. And gusto rin po ng ano yan, gusto rin po ng gobyerno yan, gusto rin po ni Presidente yan. Di ba? Para sa totoo
May
lang,
funding
bakit?
ba tayo? Do we have enough funding to do the academies or regional training
Yes,
centers?
with the support of PAGCOR, Customs, and the PCSO, we have funding. Kailangan lang magamit ng tama. Kasi ang importante sa regional training centers, merong support yung local government. Dapat may support sila congressman at senators and sila governors. You know, when that happens, then yung seed fund na galing sa Philippine Sports Commission, tapos nandyan yung LGU support. Ang pinakagusto ko, and I think I like this topic, I want to emphasize this, yung regional training centers in Visayas and Mindanao, para yung bata, when they're 12 or 13 or 14, wag muna natin hatakin, wag muna natin dalhin sa Maynila. Dadalhan kita ng coach dyan, ng foreign coach
That makes
dyan.
sense.
And train there.
Yeah.
I pull you out every time there's competition. Now, pag talagang elite ka na you're 18, 19 years old, punta ka na. Pero we cannot do that now until we have regional training centers all over the country.
Yeah, that's an excellent idea. And we also decongest Metro Manila. Plus, they get to stay with their families.
Yes.
The Philippine Sports Training Center should have been completed this year, or at least that was, I think, the projection. But this has been delayed for many years. Will the completion of this sports complex be your priority as PSC chairman? But before you answer that question, we'll have to take a short break. At the forefront, we'll be right back. Welcome back at the forefront. Chairman Pato, the Philippine Sports Training Center should have been completed this year at a cost of 3.5 billion pesos in Bagak, Bataan. But this has been delayed for many years. Will the completion of this sports training center be one of your priorities as the PSC chairman?
Yes, Attorney Karen. Number one reason naman dyan, nagka-COVID eh. So, na-delay talaga siya, no? Ngayon, pinag-aaralan natin kung paano sisimulan uli yan. And as a matter of fact, nung ginagawa kasi yan, if you recall, wala pa yung New Clark City sa Clark. Wala pa yung Southeast Asian complex doon. And then we hosted the Southeast Asian Games. Nagkaroon na ngayon. Now the National Academy of Sports is also in Clark. Nandun yung mga bata. NAS is the Philippine Science for Sports. It's called the National Academy of Sports. So, mga scholars yan. Young boys and girls na get free education and all they do is focus on the sports they
That's
like.
good that we have that. Ilan yung usually yung number of
They're around mga
scholars?
200 now, 50 per year. Ang chairman yan si Secretary Sani Angara. Ako po ang vice chairman yan. And then POC president and 2 private sector, pati CHED. So it's a new school, Institute for Sports. It's all in Clark. It's beside the New Clark City Academy, the Aquatic Center. So what we're doing now is we're coordinating with the BCDA, sila Chairman Larry Paredes, CEO Jake Bingkang, and we'll see how we can pursue this training center in Clark, pursue the training center, another training center in John Hay.
That
High
would
altitude.
be great. I was gonna say that. High altitude, that would be great for the athletes
Yes.
para yung capacity nila, endurance
Endurance.
can increase. So, yung sa Baguio, in the works pa po yan? Ginagawa pa lang?
Hindi po, i-renovate na lang yan.
So, for renovation?
In the 1980s, yung gintong alay ni President Marcos noon, sa Baguio yon. Yung Lydia de Vega, Isidro de Prado, Elma Muros, Baguio lahat yan. Those were the golden years of athletics in the Philippines. Dun lahat yan tumatakbo sa Baguio. It's still there. We're renovating. We're fast-tracking yung oval, bagong oval. This week, I'll be in Baguio to open the new weights training center donated by MVP.
So, teka lang, just to take a step back, bakit ba mahilig mag-support si MVP sa mga sports like basketball and apparently, yan, pati weight training? Why is he an advocate and / a patron of sports?
I think it's a great question, and I think it's so easy to explain. You know why? Because as far as MVP is concerned, sports is a great equalizer. Sports is para sa kanya, walang mayaman, walang mahirap. Pagdating sa sports, pantay-pantay ang Pilipino at united ang Pilipino kung ang nagtatagumpay yung Pilipino sa sports. That's why sila Hidelin, sila Carlos, and all our boxers, lahat yan, since 8 years ago, sinuportahan na ng MVP Sports Foundation.
That's wonderful to hear. So yung sa Baguio po, ginagawa na yung mga renovation of the sports facilities, and then New Clark City, this is something that's being used right now.
Yes, it's being used. We have 200 students there, and then
Do they live also on site?
Yes, yes.
They have living facilities?
Yes,
Ang
complete,
galing,
complete with board and lodging, and then the complete training facility. So all we have to do is develop more training facilities sa different sports. Yung sa Baguio, fast track natin yung oval, and then this week open na natin yung weights training center for there are 200 national athletes in Baguio. So we should bring more there.
And with the Philippine Sports Training Center that's still undergoing the completion in Bataan, will this be, do you think, like a redundancy or magagamit din to separate?
Hindi na, Attorney Karen. I think the government decided not to pursue the one in Bataan.
Hindi na siya
Hindi na.
itatapusin.
Because as I've said, that was before COVID. And then ang nangyari, nagtayo na ng Clark, NAS, in New Clark City. So, strategic naman si Clark because there's a train.
Yeah, and there's the airport nearby.
International airport. And you have hotels there, and it's a university town as well, so it's easy to identify athletes. And it's just 2 hours away. Either papunta kang Manila or papunta kang Baguio.
Yeah.
So strategic si
Okay,
Clark.
so wala namang na-construct pa dito sa Philippine Sports Training Center?
Well, because nga nagka-COVID, so
Yeah,
hindi na
so at least
natuloy.
walang nasayang na pera.
Wala.
That's great to hear. What feedback have you received from the National Sports Associations regarding the other needs of the athletes? Meron pa bang mga ikaw na nakikita na malaking pangangailangan na hindi pa natutugunan?
Napakasimple lang ng kanilang mga request na yung nutrition, and we're giving that to them. Kaka-approve ko nga lang ng mga ibang request for the new tracksuit, uniforme. We have to provide at least two per year. They have to look good. Di ba? They have to look good. Athletes, they have to look good. So, and then yung kanilang pag-upgrade ng mga dormitory, sana wala namang lamok at dapat may tubig.
Oo naman,
Diba?
sana naman.
So yung mga ganung bagay, And since ang background ko hospitality rin, di ba? Comfortable living, nice bed, nice yung mga addition dun sa dining area sa Philippine Sports Commission. I saw yung TV 32-inch. Sabi ko, lalabo ang mata ng mga atleta. Padagdagan na natin ng TV. TV na lang, let them enjoy.
Hindi po ba kayo
training.
nahirapan sa source of funding?
Hindi naman po. You know, ano yan siguro because of my background sa hospitality, sa marketing, sa sales. And sabi ko nga if people see that we're doing this right, if government sees that we're spending the money properly, the support will be there. The legislative branch will give us more funding. Philippine Amusement and Gaming Corporation, Chairman Altenco, will give us more funding.
Yeah.
So, ano lang yan? Just prove to them that tama yung paggastos.
That you're responsible spending. What about tennis? Alex Ayala has been making the Philippines proud as well. Meron pa ba tayong tennis na support as a program?
Yes, they're part of the NSA. Si Alex was here a few days ago. I was trying to see her, but she left right away. So ang sabi ng parents niya na pagbalik, mag-uusap kami. I think there's a plan to bring Alex here this January. Kausap ko si Tennis Federation and si Mayor John Tiangco ng Navotas and they said, Pat, can we bring Alex here so mapapanood ng mga Pilipino.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah.
Oo.
So Alex is just 20 years old. She has a long runway. And maraming susunod na Alex Ayala.
Meron tayong tennis programs.
Definitely.
For
we
the
have.
Filipinos, for
We-
younger
we
athletes.
have.
Okay, so before we end, because we only have about 2 minutes left, I will ask you very quickly, top 3 in different categories. So, first question, your top 3 greatest Filipino athletes of all time.
Manny Pacquiao, Carlos Yulo, Hidilyn Diaz.
Wow, okay.
Dagdag na rin natin kasi basketball background ko. Kasi idol ko talaga si Sonny Jaworski.
Yeah, George. Oo nga, classic yun. Top 3 rising stars in Philippine sports.
Actually, yung mga top 3 rising stars, all our national athletes are rising stars. Kailangan sabay-sabay silang umusbong, sabay-sabay
Oo.
silang
So, in your
manalo.
mind, pag merong...
Alex Ayala,
Okay, 1 and...
Eldro Yulo, yung kapatid ni...
Yes, we had him
Yes,
here. I
yes,
interviewed
yes.
him and sabi ng
Yeah.
coach ni Cynthia Carrington, very promising daw.
Very
Baka
promising.
daw ma-surpass pa si Carlos.
Very promising. And then, yung mga ano natin, yung mga weightlifters, sila Sarno. Yan, very promising.
Very wonderful to hear that. Top 3 Olympic sports where the Philippines can win big in the future, in your opinion?
Gymnastics, weightlifting. My opinion, shooting, archery. Individual sports, medal reach.
So, ano tayo doon? Malakas ang Philippines there. Top 3 upcoming major sports events that are happening in the Philippines this 2025. Ayan, para ma-promote mo na rin.
World Volleyball, men's volleyball, fantastic, world class, September 12 to 28. Then the futsal in October, and then the gymnastics also in November.
Wow, we have a lot to look forward to.
These are world events.
So this is part of your sports tourism program. Exactly. Lastly, top 3 dream goals for the Philippine sports by 2028.
More golds in the Olympics. It took us 96 years to win our first gold. It took us less than 4 years to win 2 more golds. We now have 3 golds in the Olympics. Let's win more golds. Number 2, really a focused welfare program for the athletes. Because when we show the people that we take care of our athletes, then funding comes in. This is my opportunity to tell everyone that please support Philippine sports. You know, Karen, pasingit lang to ha. When you donate to the Philippine Sports Commission, we can give you 100% tax rebate. So when your company donates to Philippine sports, ang kapalit nun, may tax rebate ka. 100%.
Okay, that's good for all the Bilyonarios and corporations
watching.
listening. Yeah.
Yes.
So, lastly, since you're doing such a good job, Chairman Pato, gaano ba katagal ang term niyo po as PSC Chairman?
Well, until the President ends his term, President Marcos ends his term in 2020.
But there's a chance for reappointment with, let's say, a change in administration.
It's really up to the next president.
But thank you so much, and thank you for sharing your insights with us. We're very excited with the sports and especially the young athletes that you are training now.
Well, thank you for this opportunity. And yun na nga yung 100% tax rebate, thank you, Bilyonaryo. That is very important. I have to emphasize that.
Yes, thank you so much again for your time today.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you very much.
With Chairman Patrick Gregorio leading the PSC, a renewed hope and action is igniting Philippine sports. He is committed to uplift the moral of our athletes by increasing their allowances, modernizing sports facilities, and fostering partnerships. With this vision and determination, Filipino athletes can hopefully bring in greater pride to our nation. Be timely informed, be insightful of the news. Always stay at the forefront. Join us again tomorrow for meaningful conversations on issues that matter. This is Attorney Karen Jimeno. Thank you for spending your hour with us.